CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett and Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford are with us from Washington. Jan, let's begin with you. Let us for a moment pretend there are no political ramifications today and take it as a strictly legal hearing. From a legal perspective, what are you looking for? What are the key questions from both sides of the aisle?
Well, I mean, as we saw in Nancy's report, the Democrats are going to try to focus on those possible instances of obstruction. And the point of that is to try to get Mueller to say, or at least indicate, that he thinks President Trump could have been charged with a crime if he weren't the president. Now, remember, there is that long-standing Justice Department policy that says sitting presidents can't be charged with crime. So Mueller didn't even analyze whether or not that he thought that Trump could have been charged with obstruction of justice. Now, that's where Attorney General Bill Barr comes in. When I interviewed him in late May, he told me he was surprised and thought Mueller could have reached that conclusion. So he picked up the ball. He and his team in the Justice Department looked at the evidence, looked at the facts, and concluded the president had not committed that crime of obstruction of justice. You're going to see the Democrats really press Mueller on that, whether he thought that the Attorney General was right, that the Attorney General made the right call, whether or not the Attorney General's 4-page summary of his report was misleading to Congress and to the American public. I think you're going to see potentially some tension there between Mueller and the Attorney General, or at least the Democrats are going to try to expose that.
So, Major, let me go to you. President Trump said yesterday that there was no obstruction, a topic the Democrats will likely grill Mueller on. This is something that the president has said over and over and over again. And yet, there's a Pew poll out that shows that 50% of Republicans think that Mr. Mueller has been fair by most accounts.
Well, sure. And whether Robert Mueller has been fair or not is less important than the underlying evidence. And when you talk to the president's lawyers, and there have been a lot of them, some on the team now, some used to be on the team, but they all come up with the same general conclusion, which is lots of things the president said and did, some in public, some in private, when you read them in the Mueller report, sound obstructive, but legally are not. And they don't really sound like the actions of a president that we historically have been comfortable with in our nation. That's a separate question that we're not going to put aside, the politics of it. What do you do about conduct in the Oval Office that sounds obstructive but legally can't be prosecuted, or in this case, won't be prosecuted? That's a question for the deliberative body that's holding this hearing, the United States House of Representatives. What are you going to do with this body of evidence? There's a sense that Robert Mueller can help them make that determination, but Robert Mueller, when he did his very brief statement before the public a month ago, said there's a constitutional means by which all of this can be handled. What he was telling Congress is, if you want to convene impeachment hearings, that's your decision. Don't expect me to make it for you, and don't expect me to tell you what to do about it.
I have a question for you both, because most people in this country have not even read the Mueller report. Yet 58% of the people who were polled say they're actually sick of it. They don't want to hear anything more about it. So what do you guys think can be accomplished today, realistically, with these congressional hearings?
Well, the Democrats have a theory, Gayle, which is no one read the book, maybe they'll watch the movie. Which is today, is this the movie? Well, my sense of it is, if it's a movie, Robert Mueller is not going to be a matinee idol. He is going to be someone who is going to refer to the report dryly, repetitively, yes, no, and not try to dramatize the underlying body of evidence. He's made it clear, this is the evidence we found, it's your decision what to do about it, and that's a political call as much as a legal one.
Yeah, I mean, he's done this a lot. He's an experienced former prosecutor, head of the FBI. He's coming up there as a reluctant witness. He said he's not going to go out of the, kind of boundaries of that report. So we're expecting fireworks, but we may not get a lot.
All right. We will all be watching. Major, I love the movie analogy. Thank you very much. Good to see you guys. We'll see you a little bit later on. In just over an hour, we will bring you Robert Mueller's testimony in a CBS News special report. CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Norah O'Donnell will lead our coverage on that. It starts at 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central, right here on CBS.